What is going on, guys? It's Drakesy back again with another episode of Done Deals, Rumours and Potential Transfers in the Footballing World. Now, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to like, comment, subscribe and all that goodness to support the channel, and so I know you enjoy these videos. So if you do enjoy them, make sure to do that, but without any further ado, let's get into this video. So the first deals that I always do in these are going to be the done deals, and one of these done deals is going to be Hiroki Sakal. I think that's, I could be slaughtering this name, but I don't speak Japanese, I don't pronounce them very well, but I'm going to say Hiroki Sakal. And as you can see, this guy is a Japanese player who was recently, a Japanese defender, sorry, right back to be precise, who's recently transferred through to Marseille. I do believe that he used to play for Hannover 96 in the Bundesliga, the German team, and now he has transferred through to Marseille. I'm not sure what the exact price is on this, but I do believe it is a done deal. Moving on to the next transfer. The next transfer is going to be another Japanese player, I believe, from the same team, Hannover 96, sorry, who has actually transferred away from the Bundesliga team. Now, I'm not sure why this is happening, whether there's a correlation between the two Japanese players leaving, or whether it's just they're selling them on because they're good players and they want to expand their career, whatever. But anyway, we're going to look at this next guy, and this next guy is Hiroshi Sakal. I could be wrong again, but this guy's a centre attacking mid, and as you can see, this is inform 80 rated card, and he is actually transferred from Hannover to Sevilla. So that is another done deal through to a new team. Now we're going to move on to the next one. Now the next one is not exactly a done deal, and it's not exactly like a transfer, but it's going to be Jamie Vardy apparently deciding his future. So apparently Jamie Vardy, if you don't know, was linked to Arsenal, and he's apparently come out and he said he has actually decided to stick with Leicester City. Which is always good news, because it would be a bit of a shame for him to move on from Leicester City, the team that has got him to the top and the peak of his career, winning the Premier League. And for him to just leave after one season would be like, one season of glory should I say, would be a bit of an upsetting scene. So anyway, Jamie Vardy has apparently committed his future to Leicester, and he's come out and said the thing that knocked him off Arsenal was the style of play, nothing else. So he didn't think it had suited him, and many critics and journalists did say that about this deal anyway. Moving on to the next one. The next one is going to be a bit of an old one, but it does link into another transfer, so I've actually included this one, and it's going to be Dani Alves. So Dani Alves, I believe, ran his contract down. He had a one-year contract at Barcelona. He's had a fantastic year for Barcelona once again this year. And he's actually sadly ran out of contract, and he is moving on. And that team that he is moving on to, as you can see, is Juventus. So the right back will be playing for Juventus next season, if you didn't know. Probably one of the best right backs in world football on a free agent. That is not bad. Honestly, Juventus are seriously at their A game at getting players on free contracts and free agents. They're like the best team going for that. So as you can see, I did say this transfer linked into another one. So this is the end of the done deals, and now we're going to move on to the potential deals. And that transfer that it links with is possibly Cesar Azpilicueta, possibly joining Barcelona. So as you can see, one fullback out, Dani Alves, and then another fullback in, and that fullback that they do want to sign is Cesar Azpilicueta of Chelsea. Apparently there is a lot of upset in the camp and stuff, and he's not too happy there. As I mentioned in a previous episode, that Guillem Balaguer, the Spanish representative and media correspondent, actually came out and said that he isn't too happy at Chelsea. So he's possibly on his way out. He has been linked to a few teams, but then again, if Barcelona come knocking for you, you're really going to turn them down. So he could be potentially moving to Barcelona. Moving on to another potential deal, and this is going to be Nolito. Nolito of Celta Vigo in the La Liga. Nolito has been linked around to a few different teams, but the main two teams that were the front runners were, as you can see, Man City and then also Barcelona. If you don't know, Barcelona had to apparently opt out of the deal, something to do with financial fair play, and they couldn't actually afford to get the player without selling on. I'm not too sure exactly what the exact reasons were, but I believe it was financial fair play that they couldn't buy Nolito. But apparently a team that has gone in for him is Man City. Pep Guardiola's Man City, obviously. Spanish manager wants to be getting in a few Spanish players that speak his language and stuff and can understand his style of play. And obviously Pep Guardiola is a big admirer of the player. He's out, and I believe he's out in the Euros at the moment. I believe he started every single game for Spain so far. And they did pretty well out there so far. So as you can see, Nolito has apparently been linked for about £13.5 million, that is pounds. And he could be a particularly good signing for Man City if he does go through. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be another Man City target, and that's apparently Pep Guardiola has re-sparked his interest in the centre-back John Stones. Apparently he came out and spoke to a media outlet, I'm not too sure which one it was, and said that he has still got a keen, admiring interest into the centre-back of Everton, John Stones. That's another deal that could be potentially going through. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be Michael McGovern. Now, if you don't know who Michael McGovern is, that is okay, because before really making this, I didn't either. And he's actually the goalkeeper for Northern Ireland. Now, if you did watch Northern Ireland's game the other day, I think it was against, who was it against? I can't exactly remember. I think it was, 1 minute, I'm going to have to research this. So I've just researched it, and it was against Germany. So as you saw, you will remember the match now. And Michael McGovern had a fantastic match against Germany. Ireland did lose 1-0 against the world champions, but then again, 1-0 is nothing when they had about 5 attempts on goal. And Michael McGovern stood up and did a fantastic job. And I believe he is a free agent this summer, so a few teams are going in for him, and one of the biggest teams that is after him is Southampton. So they've had a keen, admiring interest after the Euros, and I could see him potentially go into this team, Southampton, if he's out of contract. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be on Simone Zaza. I believe he has been starting out in the Euros for Italy as well, and that's got a lot of interest around him. But I don't actually think he's scored a goal yet, but apparently Wolfsburg have been interested in the striker. The striker, if you don't know, Zaza, is currently at Juventus, and apparently, this is all rumoured, but apparently Wolfsburg have actually offered 20 million for the player. 20 million. These prices in football these days are crazy for the players that you're getting, but apparently 20 million is the offer that has been put forward for Zaza. Whether it goes through, we will just have to see. The next signing, as you can see, is going to be Michy Batshuayi. If you know this player, you know that he's playing for Marseille at the moment, but apparently Marseille do want to sell him on, basically because of financial reasons. They don't have enough funds and stuff, and they're willing to sell on the player. And apparently, this player has been linked to a few different teams around the world, but apparently West Ham have put down a bid of 35 million euros, which is an incredible sum, and into pounds that is about 28 million pounds. So that is just absolutely an incredible amount of money, as you can see, for this player. But apparently the offer has actually been made by West Ham, so this deal could actually be going through. But moving on to another deal in the Premier League, and that's going to be Gunter of Wales. Now, another player that has actually been ripping it up and having a fantastic time in the Euros. I'm not too sure exactly which team he plays for at the moment, so do excuse me for that. But apparently a team that is massively interested, obviously, is going to be the Welsh giants, Swansea. Possibly one of the bigger teams in Wales, should I say, not one of the biggest, but one of the bigger teams in Wales, and that is Swansea. And they've looked at the player Chris Gunter whilst he's been out there playing for Wales, and they've been highly interested in the player. So I do believe that I do believe he plays for Reading. I've just remembered, I think he plays for Reading. Yeah, I think it is Reading. But apparently he's sparked up a lot of interest, and he could be moving to a Premier League team very soon. Moving on to the next one is going to be Joe Allen of Liverpool, but Joe Allen of Liverpool has had massive interest once again from these Euros. He's doing fantastic out in France for Wales, and that has sparked up a lot of interest from different teams. Another team that is interested is Southampton, but the team I will be covering are Leicester. I believe that Leicester could potentially get him, as they obviously will have the funds and do want to upgrade on that team if players will be leaving. They're going to want to get back some good players as well, and I think Joe Allen is apparently out of the plans of Jurgen Klopp's future plans for Liverpool, so this one could go through as well. Moving on to the next one, it's apparently going to be Alan Pardew's Crystal Palace are interested in Christian Benteke. More specifically, Alan Pardew is apparently interested in him. So apparently the manager himself has come out and said he is a keen admirer of the player, knows that he's not had that much of a good season at Liverpool this season, and will be willing to put forward an offer. So whether this deal will actually go through or Liverpool will want to hold on to the player and potentially see how he does, we'll have to see. But to be honest, he had a pretty bad season, but then again, he didn't get the playing time needed to score the goals. So when he was on, he did score some pretty good goals. I still really like this player. I think he's a quality player and could do a job for Liverpool. So when you think about Crystal Palace, he could do a fantastic job for them as well. So whether this deal goes through and the right money is put forward, we will have to see. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be another player that is potentially joining the Serie A. Sorry, I don't know why I stretched that out, but that's going to be Jesús Navas, of Man City, but apparently Pep Guardiola isn't too interested in the player and, you know, wouldn't mind selling him on. And a potential team that is interested is AC Milan, but also another team that are interested is also Inter Milan. So both Milan teams are apparently interested, but the team that I have covered on this one is going to be AC Milan, because apparently they were the ones that were apparently getting ready to put forward a bid and had actually been in contact with the player's agent. But apparently, like I did say, Inter Milan are both interested, so which Milan team will he go to? We will just have to see in the near future. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be Scott Sinclair. So apparently Scott Sinclair of the relegated Aston Villa has had much interest from new Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers, and he is wanting to buy the player off Aston Villa. So whether he will actually go through, this is another deal that could potentially go through. The sum that has been mentioned is around 3 million, which is a very, very low sum when you think about the sums that go around, like 30 million for Troy Deeney and another, like, I don't know, it was like rumoured 49 million for like Antoine Griezmann, and you know, all the big sums that go around. But obviously Scott Sinclair isn't up to the quality of some of those players, but he's not particularly a bad player and he's had a pretty good season, but he was just not in the strongest team. So Celtic are after him, and could he sign for them? We will just have to see once again. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be Neven Subotic of Borussia Dortmund, potentially joining back up with his old manager Jurgen Klopp. And apparently this is in a few papers this morning, that Neven Subotic has actually got a keen admirer in Jurgen Klopp, and he would really, really want to join up with the 27-year-old centre-back from Borussia Dortmund. So whether Dortmund will actually be selling him on, because apparently a lot of Borussia Dortmund players are on the way out this year, so whether they do actually want to be even further weakening by selling on another player, we will just have to see. But Jurgen Klopp is very, very keenly admiring this player. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be Andreas Christensen. So as you can see, the club badge that I've put in the top corner is going to be Borussia Mönchengladbach. And if you do know Andreas Christensen, he's a very, very good young upcoming central defender. He is actually his home club. He's like his actual club that he's at is Chelsea, and he's actually been on loan to Borussia Mönchengladbach this year. Mönchengladbach have had a very, very good year and wanted to buy Andreas Christensen, and they actually put forward an offer of 18.5 million to buy the player, but Chelsea have apparently turned it down. But I do believe that they will put more bids forward for the player, and really, really do want to sign him. So this deal I could see going through if they have actually put down 80 million and it has been turned down. And I do believe I think he's on loan there for another year anyway. So he would be there for this next year. I think it's a 2-year loan. He's just finished one, then he's got his next year coming up. But I think they do want to buy the player anyway, so this one could potentially go through as well. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be Graziano Pelle of Southampton. Apparently Lazio are very, very keen admirers of the player. Just overall, I believe they have a keen interest in him. And he could potentially be going to sign for Lazio. So whether this one happens, once again, I'm not too sure. This was all just rumoured. There were no sums made, but apparently just the club are interested in the player. So it does make a perfect fit. Italian team, Italian player. Whether it'll go through, we will just have to see once again. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be Kostas Manolas. So I do believe that Kostas Manolas, playing for Roma at the moment, had actually got a bid from Manchester United, and it has been turned down by Roma. So once again, this one could actually be potentially happening and potentially on the cards once again. I believe the bid was around 15 million for the player, and that is relatively a low number when you compare it to other ones going out at the moment, like other sums. But then again, he is a centre-back, but then again, all players on a pitch are key to the success of a team. So Kostas Manolas could actually be joining up with the Manchester team, Manchester United and Jose Mourinho, but we'll just have to see if they're willing to put down further bids for the player. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be another player for Jose Mourinho, and as you can see, it's going to be James Rodriguez. Now, if you know, there has been a very, very big rumoured topic that I have already covered, and that's the potential move of Paul Pogba coming to Real Madrid, which does kind of free up the reason of Rodriguez being there. It makes him kind of on the back burner if Paul Pogba is there, and obviously the player wouldn't want that. He's a world class player, as you can see, 89 rated, fantastic player. I don't know why he's a CDM. He is meant to be a centre attacking mid. That's just where I put him in the team. But he is apparently, I do believe that he is apparently the most followed football player on Twitter. So he's got a very, very big social following, and that is exactly the kind of signing that Ed Woodward would sign for Manchester United. So it's the kind of player that United would want, and if Real Madrid are willing to part ways with the player if they get Pogba, we'll just have to see if it all comes through to fruition. Fruition? I'm not too sure how you say that word. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be Alvaro Morata. Now, Alvaro Morata has actually been bought back from Juventus by Real Madrid for around 25 million, and a team that are keenly interested is once again going to be Chelsea. And apparently Chelsea are interested in a lot of players. Obviously they want to build a pretty strong team after the bad finish last season, but apparently Real Madrid have literally just bought back the player for 25 million and now could be selling him on to Chelsea for around 52 million. So it's incredible, and it's a good bit of business from Real Madrid to potentially get double the money within a couple of days or months. So it's a good deal that they could be having done, or maybe Real Madrid might want to hold on to the player. We'll just have to see. Moving on to the next bit is going to be Romelu Lukaku. So apparently Juventus have been after three main strikers, and those three strikers are Alexis Sanchez, Romelu Lukaku, or Michy Batshuayi of Marseille. And those are the three strikers and kind of attackers that they kind of want to sign one of them this window. And to be honest, I can't really see the other two going. I can't see Arsenal parting ways with Alexis Sanchez, and it looks like West Ham are on the way of signing Michy Batshuayi. So the one player that leaves is Romelu Lukaku, and they do have the money and the potential to sign this kind of player. So obviously, this kind of calibre of player, Romelu Lukaku, one of the highest goal scorers in the Premier League, could be joining Juventus. And obviously there's been covers, and it's been covered in the newspapers. I've not just made this one up. It has been covered. So yeah, he could be going to Juventus very, very soon indeed. Moving on to the last and final one, and that's going to be another West Ham signing, Andreas Lacazette. And this guy, guys, this is just absolutely incredible. Apparently the offer that West Ham have put down for this player is 58 million. It blows my mind, seriously. It seriously confuses me, but it not confuses me on a level that I don't think they should have him, but just that kind of money is incredible. You really don't associate West Ham as ever spending that kind of money on a player, so it is really, really good to see, but it seriously blows my mind. But apparently Andreas Lacazette, currently at Lyon in France, could be moving to West Ham, seeing as though they've got the new ground, the Olympic Stadium ground, a much, much bigger ground, and they could actually become one of the biggest teams in England if they carry on with this kind of calibre of signing. So they've actually put bids down for Michy Batshuayi, as I showed you before, and then they could actually be trying to sign Andreas Lacazette as well, which would give them an incredible, incredible attack. Whether it goes through, you can be the decider, but apparently it could be coming to fruition, I don't know, very, very soon once again. So that has been my roundup of all the transfers, rumours, done deals, all that palaver in the news today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you have enjoyed this video, so I know you've enjoyed it. And then yeah, get any transfers that I've not covered in the comment section down below if you know any. But thank you once again for watching. I love your faces, and have a very, very, very nice day indeed.